It is coming through. All right, we're back. This is episode 4. Mm-hmm. Episode 4, back again. And we're going to do a in-depth into how, why we started Nxt-Gen Nutrition. And sort of go back. I'm going to overlay some images of sort of the process and how it sort of came about. We're going to touch on where the idea came from. We're going to touch on, you know, the hurdles that we've had ever since we started it, and just take a little journey back through time. So, Dax, your first role in a sports nutrition store was when?
I was 19.
19, so that...
Casually working at a store in Newcastle, as well as tree lopping, because it just obviously I was a bit out of school, about a year or so out of school. I was just working, I think maybe on the weekends. So I'd work all week doing trees. I was landscaping, and then I'd fly up there and work on the weekends. It's funny because when you just said that, I just remembered something. You know, when you get to, I don't know at your school, but they done a end of year 10 book, and if you weren't proceeding, it sort of ended for there, and it had questions at the end like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And mine was, and I still kept it for years, and Dad used to always laugh at it, mine was to work in a supplement store.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God. I swear to God. Like, I asked my dad, and I remember,
have you still got the book?
He would have it.
Yeah,
and he goes, you don't want to work in one, you want to own it. And I was like, nah, I just want to work in it. Because I remember travelling to...
Set the bar high.
I remember travelling to Newcastle to another store up there before that store was there that I worked at. And I used to spend... Me, Damo, Jimbo, we used to catch a train up there. And we used to spend hours in this store up there. Newcastle, what was that store? City Health. And I used to think it was the greatest thing in the world. And I was like, imagine working in one of these stores. So, yeah, basically, 19. So, a long time.
Yeah.
It's a while
35.
It's a lot of years.
Beep.
A lot of
so,
years.
19, you started working up there. Then, obviously, the one that you worked in here at Erina opened in roughly what?
Oh, that was close.
This is why I can't give you water around electric
devices. That was close. You know what? I don't know what year that opened. I can't remember that far back. But once I worked there for a couple of years casually, they opened a store down here, and then I started working casually there.
Yep. And you were there. You probably would have been what, about 21?
Yeah.
21?
Yeah.
And you were there till probably what, 30?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it would have been, because this is 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I worked there for ages.
Yep.
And managed it. Yeah.
Yep. And at that time, that was kind of like the first proper dedicated sports nutrition store on the coast. That's right. And I even remember going in as a customer back before I even knew who Dax was, other than the guy that worked there. And I'd do the same thing. You go in there and you'd have a look at all the shelves and what's in, what's new. You're trying new products. I think back then it was so exciting because there was so many new products coming out, and it was all relatively new. And then it probably would have been 5 years after that. I maintained shopping there, obviously, and then I started a video production business in which I was doing things like TV ads and weddings and YouTube ads and things like that. So all this video related stuff. And I went into Dax and said, hey, it'd be cool if we linked up and did a promo for the shop. And he was like, all for it. So we all linked up. I think back then it was like Dax, Mike, Mick Radaman, can't remember who else was in the video. Anyway, we went down and shot it at...
Oh, the one at Anytime.
Yeah. Was it Anytime then? Was it Fitness 2000 still?
Yeah, Fitness 2000.
It was, anyway, the old Anytime or Fitness 2000 era, we went down and shot it. And we produced that. And through that, we all sort of became good friends. And we maintained contact and started hanging out more. And I think it was about a year or two after that, I was probably about 24. I got a job. There was a casual position that came up. And I thought, hey... Monday to Friday, I'm not really doing anything apart from editing. I might, go and earn some extra money. So I got a job as a casual sales assistant there. So I was working alongside Dax, and at that time, I think Nath was the manager of the shop. And we had a ball. It was it was awesome. Like pretty much doing what we're doing now, but you know, there was no real pressure or stress, or you know, we were just helping people and having fun. And I think we did that. I was there for about a year, and then I think Dax started to transition out. Your PT started to get real busy, and your prep clients and all that. And you were like, oh, you know, I've done almost 10 years here. I'm kind of getting over it, which was fair enough. And you start to phase out, so I started to sort of step up a little bit and fill Dax's sort of role that was there, with Nath above me. And then a bunch of management changes happened, and it kind of lost its soul. Like the shop has a similar vibe to, I reckon, you know, our shops now. Like you can go in, you don't have to spend anything, you can just have a chat and have a laugh and, you know, whatever it is. It kind of lost that vibe. A lot of management changes happened, and it was like, you know, you need to be more focused on making sales and stacking people up. And it kind of went against what we'd done, more of an organic sort of sales approach where you become their friends and find out what they actually need and prescribe those supplements. And through that, Dax left, another guy that was working there left, Nath stepped down, and then I found myself there on my own in a store in a role that it just wasn't what it was. Like I think when it was like the boys club back then, it was pumping, man. There was no...
Yeah, it's because we all enjoyed it and
had fun, and there was no pressure on doing all things that you don't want to do.
Yeah, and that's the difference. If you're in a job and you're having fun with it every day and you're obviously enjoying it, it goes so much better. It naturally works better. When you're in a job that you're stressed, you're getting told what to do too much, and it's not enjoyable for yourself or your clientele, you just watch it decrease. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I just got over it. That's what happened with me, and then that's when I bailed. I wasn't enjoying it. Like the clients could tell, customers could tell that I wasn't enjoying it, and just lost its vibe, really.
Yeah. And I think it was shortly after that we were kind of like, oh, why don't we do our own thing? And originally we were like, hey, let's buy that shop or buy into that shop. I mean, thinking back now, I'm glad we didn't. But at the time we saw it as a means to an end, because there was another big chain competitor store coming, which was Nutrition Warehouse. And we're like, all right, if we're going to battle them, we kind of want to go up against them with another big chain store, which was our thinking at the time, offers a bit more security. But pretty much got told, no, it's not for sales. You know, this is my store, blah, blah, blah. So we thought, all right, whatever. And it was from there that I started to really put the foot down on, like, let's do our own thing. So behind the scenes, I was researching locations and products and, you know, apparel marketing and everything that a business has to offer, and how we get finance and accounting, everything like that, and sort of relaying it back. At that time, there was 3 of us in on it. So it was myself, Dax, and another guy. And, you know, everything was looking good. Everything was looking great. We're all pumped up. We knew we had to chuck some cash in. And then obviously we found out that other big chain was opening, and one of the boys got cold feet, pulled out, and I was like, all right, well, Dax, you still keen? No, right back. Okay. Dax kind of got to the point. I think by then you're kind of just like, oh, I can't really see the...
Well, my PT business was pumping.
Yeah.
Like, you built up a good clientele, and I was enjoying it. And I was like, I don't need any more stress.
Yeah.
Like I would love to own my own store, but then like I'm gonna have to do this PT all day. Then I'm gonna have to work our ass off to get this up, and I was just like, that was the only thing that was holding me back. That was it. Basically, yeah.
So Dax kind of just reached out and said, hey bro, I think I'm too busy at the moment. I'm not really that keen. And I was like, fuck. Like I need someone else. I've got a little bit of money, but not a lot. And I think it sort of went to bed for probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. And then we linked up with another guy. And he was like, I think it's a great idea. Let's get the ball rolling. So it kind of re-sparked the fire. Dax sort of got pulled back into it. And he was like, yeah, I'm keen. Then that guy pulled out. I was like, oh, man. And I think for Dax, that was kind of like you just going, all right, whatever. I'm just going to do my PT. There's too many in and outs and start-stops, which is fair enough. So through that time, I was like, nah, I still want to do this. I had this gut feeling that it's going to work. and still do with some businesses now. Like, I think you probably get the same thing. You know if something's going to work or if it's not. You can just kind of feel it. And back then I was like, yeah, this is going to work. This is what I'm meant to do. So I started researching and ordering products in, and I said to Dax, why don't we just start online and just see how it goes? That way we're not committed to a lease, a shop fit out, buying stupid amounts of stock to fill it. And he was like, all right, let's do it online. So back then we put orders in for brands that weren't really on the coast yet, and we took a bit of a risk and went in another direction. We researched some new and exciting brands to bring a bit of life back to the space, and it worked. It worked a treat. Like, the website just started cracking, and we were sending orders all over Australia. We were meeting people and dropping products off. Dax would meet them at the gym at G6 out there, dropping products. I'd meet people at, servo car parks. They'd come to the warehouse, which is my parents' garage, and grab product. And I think we did that for about 3 months, and then we're like, you know what, this is going really well. We should probably look at getting a storefront.
I remember being in Thailand at the time, and you messaged me, and you were like, bro, we're out of stock. And I was like, what the fuck? It was like 3 days later. And I was like, what do you mean? And you go, we've sold out of nearly everything. And I was like, yeah, it was like a Wednesday, and I left on the Monday or the Sunday. And I was like, nah. And then, yeah, I remember, obviously, if anybody knows anything about products, there's not massive margins. So, like, we sold through it. Obviously, we had the return of the money we've made on the products, but then you have to upload again. And I was like, fuck, really? This is what it's going to be like? Yeah. We're not millionaires yet? Yeah. And then, then that was, and I couldn't believe it that you fucking sold that much stock in 3 days.
I was flying.
That's probably the moment. And being in Thailand, fuck, when I'm in Thailand, I just fly, pumped up, everything's running. I remember just sitting there, just with all these ideas, running around in circles, pumped up, off, probably jacked back then, and thinking this is going to crack. And that's when I got back. I reckon I remember we just went hard.
We put the foot down. We chucked. I think that was. I remember you coming back and you're like, all right, how much do you want to chuck in? I think we maybe put in, I don't know, $6,000 or something each, or something like that.
Yeah, life savings.
Yeah, pretty much. And we started to expand the range, and we were, again, just following this sort of tangent of getting new products in that hadn't been on the coast yet. And of course, what happens? The competitors started to follow, and then we kind of got to the point where we were doing a decent amount of sales, and we had a bit of leverage with some of these guys to say, hey, offer us exclusive, and we'll pump your brand up. We will make it the go-to, and we really believe in these products. Our customers are loving them. Let's go down that road. That started to work really well. Those competitors that were getting the products now couldn't get them, and it was at that point that we were like, all right, let's start looking for a shop. My parents had enough of losing their garage. Like, we started with one little order on a step ladder.
Have you got that photo?
Yeah, sure. I'll put it up. I've still got it. One little order on a step ladder of a couple of products, which then grew to, taking up a quarter of the garage, and it grew to taking up half the garage. Then before we knew it, we were in the garage and in my parents' living room, and they were like, all right, come on, enough's enough. You need to get this stuff out of here. I was like, yeah, fair enough. So the hunt began to find a shop, and that in itself, it was a scary move, eh? Like, just knowing you have to sign a lease, and then you start adding up what it's going to cost to do the fit out and finding the right location. And even in those early days, spending something like $2,000 was like, oh man, I don't know if we can do this. We were starting to sacrifice like location over price, and I'm so glad we're in the spot that we are now, especially the Erina shop being our first store, because it's such a good little complex. Like, I think originally we were looking at this other area, and it was cheaper, but it just didn't have the same vibe.
Good landlords here, and
really good landlords. And then we obviously signed the lease. We started to buy materials. We obviously chucked some more money in, started to buy materials. Before we know it, the bank account's at zero again, and we've got no stock and half a painted shop with a couple of shelves up. Like, oh man, we're going to need more money. We haven't got any more money. So I was like, all right, I'll go try and get us a loan. So for anyone that's tried to get a business loan before, when you haven't got any, history of trading, it's pretty much impossible. So I had a little folder of, our business plan and where I see us going and everything, and, put on a shirt and some jeans and went into Fountain Plaza, knocking on every business banker's door saying, hey, look, here's what I got. The first one, I was all pumped up, walked in, show them, this is it. There's only one other competitor in the area. We're pumped. We've sold this much online, blah, blah, blah. They're like, nah, sorry, mate, it's not for us. Fuck. Went to the next one. Nah, sorry, mate, not for us. Went to I think I hit every bank in Fountain Plaza, which at that time was probably about 6 banks, and got told no by everyone. And I called Dax and I was like, man, no luck, eh? And he's like, well, what are we going to do? And
at that point there was no return.
Yeah, there was no return. We'd already like pretty much signed the lease, and the shop was half painted, and half the shelving was up. We had we had some skerricks of stock that we'd sort of been holding off on. And we're kind of like, all right, we've got to make this work no matter what. So what do we do? Thankfully, we got in contact with one of Dax's good friends, and he offered a cash injection for us, a loan. And to this day, we're so thankful for that, because it got us up on the right foot. Like, literally saved the day, and allowed us to pay this loan off over time. And for us, that was massive. Like, that really is why we started. We were able to get access to those funds off this guy, and like I said, forever thankful for that. And from there, you know, things started to roll. We got the flooring down, we got the shelving up, we got the desk in, the signage, all those things. And you know, when you're starting to do a shop fit out, you pay for the fit out, and then you know that could cost 30 grand or whatever. Then you got to go, oh crap, now we got to fill it up with stock, which is going to cost, it can cost up to 50 grand. So you're looking at between 80 and 100 grand for a shop fit out, hoping that customers come in to buy stock. And I remember we were in here day and night. We had the trades in here. You get excited, you do a drive-by late at night and see what's going on. And I think we did our first order, which was about 30 grand of stock. We both started to put it up, all excited. We got about not even halfway, probably a quarter of the way around the shop, and we're like, man, we're out of stock. And the shelves are pretty much empty or have one brand on them. Had to chuck more money in to keep it going, and finally we got it to a point where I think our first day of trade was, I think it was May 2015. About May 2015, about this time, 2015 or 2016, I have to double check. And we opened the doors, and we were like, all right. I think you were still PTing at the time. I was in here running it full time. And you were coming a bit later. I opened the doors and a customer came in. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And it was someone we knew. But, when people started coming in that we didn't know, that was when I was like, oh, this is epic. Like, how good's this? The marketing's starting to work. Obviously, people have heard about it. They want to get involved. And from there, the first couple of years in business, as any business owner will tell you, they're make or break. And there's so many highs, but so many lows as well. And the main thing over that time is cash flow. You're always constantly looking at the bank going, all right, I've got to pay for this. I've got this coming in. I might be waiting for money off this. And that whole first couple of years, it's such a stress because you're constantly worried about cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously being in a retail space, we were trying to build the cash up and reinvest it to bring in more brands and more products and apparel and all these things you do as a business. And I don't know what it was like for you at the start. Like, what was going through your head when we first started opening on?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything was going through my head. It's always a worry to know if it's going to work.
Mm.
And then you have doubts. You still have a little doubts now, 6 years on.
Mm.
But I guess now we've built up enough clientele and hype around our business that people trust us, and we've got good people coming back to us. So, but back then, like you said, we didn't have really anyone.
No.
But I think what we did before that, where we worked previously, helped us because people followed over to us.
Yeah, which was so
They
good.
trusted us.
Yeah.
And that's what's obviously helped us to go 6 years later. The money side of things, like money's a worry in everyone's life, let's be honest. You know what I mean? But now it's still a worry for us. It's just, everyone owns a business. There's some sort of worry with money. You know what I mean? But I was just hoping that people would come through the doors, buy our stock, and we still had our mojo in the supplement industry.
Yeah.
Being out of it for maybe I was out for I probably was only a year, really, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, do I still have that touch? I still loved supplements, but did I still have that, that buzz around it? And it didn't take long because we just started having fun with it again. So that came back really quick. And
when it's your own thing too, you have even more fun.
And it just threw us back. We didn't have anyone above us telling us what to do. Customers could come in, relax, and it just started. And that's that was my biggest fear, is to see if we could still have that, and it worked a treat.
Yeah. Yes, that was it. Yeah, we opened Erina, and then out of nowhere, we got approached to open our second store on the peninsula, and they're like, "Hey, I think there's a good market for it down here." And we were like, "Well, do you reckon it's too close to Erina? This is so early." I think this was 6 months in. So, but the guy that contacted us was super passionate. You know, he was pumped up. He'd already done his research. He'd planned everything out. He'd approached us with a plan, and we're like, "All right, well, let's do it." Opened the Woi Woi store, and then I think 2 months after that, we did Tugra. Mm-hmm. This is all very, very quick succession. Then after that, we had, I think it was maybe 6 months or a couple of months after that, we had 2 more stores come on, which were franchised. And yeah, it just started to grow from there. And then our Melbourne store opened, I think, a year after that. And then our latest store, which is up in Newcastle in Katara, which was open last year just before COVID, which was fantastic time to open. But like every business, you know, everyone that's been in business has been through this crap with the virus. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, and obviously, like we said, we've had a lot of crap along the way. You know, we've lost mates, we've made new mates, we've rekindled relationships that have gone sour. You know, we've had people try and block us from brands. We've messed up heaps of times and paid the price in terms of, you know, cash flow and, you know, overexerting yourself. But I think as a business, if you're truly passionate about it, you sort of do whatever you do. It's kind of like a problem presents itself and you're quick to find a solution to move on. You know, we've both been through copious amounts of stress with business, as every business owner, you know, gets. I think like you mentioned, I think on the last podcast, it's kind of like people who want to work their own business think they're going to be working less.
Yeah.
And you made a good point.
Definitely not the truth.
Yeah. You made a good point in which that you said you actually end up working more. And if you have that mindset of, I'm going to work my own hours and work less, it can be a quick fall because, you know, especially in those early years, you've got to really keep adding fuel to that fire to keep it burning. And that doesn't stop over the years. You still got to keep going. And, you know, there's been so many times where we've been like, worked maybe 7 days in a row and you're like, oh, I've got a day off this week, let's go. And then for some reason something happens, someone's sick or whatever, and you got to step in and go again. When you're working a 9 to 5, you don't really have to do that stuff. Yeah. Like,
it's still to this day we do. I mean, with this virus that's come through the last couple of years, you know, a lot of our staff have fallen with it. And touch wood, we haven't. I don't know what's happened there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, we're still doing it. We're still working. If, like, you know, if someone's sick, we'll work. Or we'll have to bring another casual to cover our shift, and we'll work somewhere else. So, like, that's 6 years on. It doesn't get any easier. Yeah, we're not sitting at home and just going, fuck, send that bloke in,
or just not open the shop today.
You've still got to make it happen. So,
yeah,
like, I guess that sort of continues on what I'm saying. If you own your own business, it's not easier.
No,
you still have to do shit like that.
You got to pick up the crumbs when someone else drops them. Like, it's otherwise, like, the business goes to crap. People see that you're not really invested in it. It's not a passion of yours. It's just something on the side. And yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been here heaps of times where, you know, we've had to come in at 9, 10 o'clock at night to get something for a customer or to do something on the back end of the business or whatever it might be. And any business owner will tell you that that's just what you've got to do. Yeah, it's not always glamorous, but yeah, when you get it to a point, I think we're at the point now where we can kind of like take a step back. We've got good staff who can run the stores. We can kind of do our thing in growing the business now instead of being so inside the business all the time, which is good because it's going to allow us to grow and whatever it might be. So,
absolutely.
I think we had a question like a couple ago, and it was, you know, for you, what's been the hardest part of business over this 6 years? And then I'll answer the same.
For me, what's been the hardest?
Yeah.
There's been multiple things. I think one big thing for me is before we started this business, I used to hang out with my mates heaps, a lot. And whether we're right on it or we're playing cricket or we're fucking surfing. That didn't happen 6 years ago. Or we're training or whatever. That sort of just, as soon as we started Nxt-Gen, I get to see my mates maybe once or twice a year. Like my mates that I grew up with, I still obviously see my mates. That was hard. That is still hard because I get messages all the time saying, "Fuck, you still alive?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro. Are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, you missed the weekend. You missed that." That has been hard for me for ages. And I don't. To be honest with you, just like the hardest part. Man, it's hard to put it down to anything, but not seeing my mates enough, and probably not. And probably having to take attention away from other things to this, certain things, that has been hard as well. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't give this enough attention, it's not going to run as good as it can. Mm-hmm. Probably them too.
Yeah.
Like I go into depth, but
basically it's like managing your time.
Yeah, managing the time. Business, I think I manage it pretty well now. I think, but like it's still like, it leads this way. Yeah. A little bit.
For me, I think over the last 6 years, definitely when things don't go well, when they don't go to plan, that sucks. Like you're always getting thrown curveballs, and probably the backstabbing that can happen. That when you think you're close with someone and then, for whatever reason they stab you in the back or whatever it is. I think they're the two for me.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Yeah, so
still happens.
Yeah, you just don't give as much of a shit. Again, Sweet.
Get through them.
Yep, let's do it.
And thank you for people asking or sending questions through. All right, we'll start with the first one. Sorry, a bit slow with this. Has anyone ever ripped off magic? Now, are we talking about ripped off as in people, accounts that owe us money?
I don't know. Now, I'm going to go down that route because I think the other one's just messy.
Yeah, there's been people that owe magic, accounts that owe it money, for sure. Whether their business wasn't going as good as they hoped and they couldn't pay the bills. I feel like probably most supplement brands have probably been through this.
Yeah, everyone goes through.
It's, you know what I mean?
It sucks.
It sucks. Yeah, absolutely. Because we're still going to pay for stock. If they've got stock and they haven't paid for it, well, then we have to pay for more. So that leads us.
Not only that, you've still got to pay all your expenses, your wages and tax and all that. Like, yes, yeah, we have been ripped off heavily. It's been fantastic.
Is creatine a steroid?
No.
It's not, but if you mix it with certain things, it could be. All right, here we've got some serious questions. Have you had to learn to set boundaries within your industry, family, friends, customers, and business? So have you had to set boundaries within the industry, family, friends, customers, and business?
I don't really know what it means.
So I feel like a dumbass not being able to know what this means. I mean, boundaries as in...
I guess if I answer it like this, sometimes both of us, we own the business, but we still have that sort of mate relationship with our staff. Yeah. And sometimes if there is an issue, it's hard to bring it up because we see our staff as our close mates. And for me, that would be a kind of, I guess, like it's a boundary that we kind of probably do need to build up where there's maybe a bit more of like a, hey, I'm your boss kind of thing. And I hate seeing it like that because I don't want it to be like that. But sometimes I think boundaries do have to be set in that kind of sense. Otherwise, everyone else is pretty good. Like even my family, when they come in, they still pay, and yours would probably be the same. And like,
fuck, I pay for my dad's stuff.
Yeah, like
fucking pain in the ass, that fella. I love him, but
Yeah, everyone's pretty good, and usually if boundaries do get stepped over, we'll have to pull it in. I hate having those.
There's awkward shit that you got to
yeah,
put
I
with,
hate.
and like now it's just got to the point where you know you're getting this is going to be awkward. I just fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah,
like, I don't even care anymore. There's always awkward conversations we're gonna have, and if you just nip it in the butt straight away,
yeah,
just
it's
get
kind of
done.
the best way to do it.
Yeah, you just go head on. This is a good one. How to find balance between work, gym, life goals within the importance of sleep. With the importance of sleep.
Oh man,
That's a ripper, because this guy's a hard worker too.
I reckon you just got to dedicate time for each sort of aspect of it. So for me, I was a nighttime trainer. I'd train after work, but I found that by the end of the day, I was so just fatigued and just couldn't be bothered, and I'd start to skip the gym. So now I flip that around. I go to the gym first thing in the morning. You do the same, because it's at that time your phone hasn't started. People aren't really messaging apart from Dax. You know, you get that little bit of time to yourself. So yeah, start the gym. Then obviously while I'm at work, I'm doing things because we have a few different businesses. It is hard to dedicate time to each one, and you do have to dedicate time to each one. Nothing is sort of self-sufficient. So it's dedicating time per day or per week to the areas of those businesses that need doing, whether it's marketing or, you know, the back end of things, or, you know, formulas or whatever it might be, dedicating specific time to those areas, I think. And then sleep's so important. If I don't sleep well, everything goes to crap, and my sleep's been terrible at the moment, but I'm hoping that's going to change soon. And yeah, obviously just having a good nighttime routine, going to bed at the same time, trying to get some good sleep, and yeah, that's what I'd say for me.
I feel like it all goes hand in hand. So, and this guy trains at the same time as me every morning, because he doesn't mind throwing up a selfie, and I don't mind seeing it. So for myself, I train at the same time every morning. So I get up, go and train, and I've been getting up early at 4 a.m, and I've been getting stuff going, training. Obviously, come home, have my meals, and then if I've got invoices that I need to pay, then or etc., I'll do it then. And that's probably when I message Jara. It's fucking
4:35 in the morning.
I know he's
hey, bro, did you get that code?
I know he's not going to reply, but it works for me. Hey, it works for me. You know what I mean? So I know gym is done by 6:30 in the morning. Perfect. Weekends a little bit later, because I don't really have to muck. You know, got too much to do. And life goals, I guess that just comes with.
These are our goals, kind of.
Yeah,
life, eh?
Yeah. Every day I sort of just live the goal. So the goal to get the business better, to have a better personal life, and, you know, building your business up, so be able to do those sorts of things. And with sleep, I still haven't nailed that. But this week, what is it telling me? We're only 3 days in, 2 days in. But I've been going to sleep by 8:30.
Far out, that's pretty good.
I know. And you know what? I've been getting up at 4 and feeling heaps better. Now, tonight that might not work. Probably have things on, but I just try and balance it out as much as possible, and having rest days as well from the gym. I find that really works. Or just rest days in general. Last Saturday I laid on the couch all fucking day because I was just cooked. I was so tired. Next one. Now, I had to message her because I didn't understand this question properly. Do you think it's as important, the things you put on your body versus the things you put into it? Now, I messaged her and thought she meant clothing.
Does she mean like creams and things
like that?
Yeah,
I said clothing, or do you mean like creams?
Yeah.
And I don't know if she's asking personal straight to me, but I guess it's true. Obviously, the things that you put into your body, and if you're trying to be healthy, when you're looking after yourself, so you put the cleanest products, the cleanest food, if you want it to run to its optimal.
Well, 100%. Like like you said, if you're putting toxic stuff in your body that's creating imbalances, that's going to show on the outside.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're putting things on the outside to mask the inside, then you're going to be wasting your money, because you're going to be fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, so I think it definitely is important. I use, I'm never really one to hide it, but yeah, my partner owns a cosmetic injecting company, and I use all her creams, face washes, etc. And it's good quality, and I wouldn't want to use cheap shit because if it's got harsh chemicals, etc., then it's just going to absorb into my body and just make my body unhealthy. So yeah, I do think it's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Does alcohol ruin your gains? Example, low carb beer in small amounts.
No, I mean, depends how serious you are. If you're jumping on stage in 12 weeks, probably cut it out. But if you fit it into your lifestyle, you know, you got to enjoy yourself too.
And also too, it's not the carbs in the beer that ruins your gains.
Yeah,
it's the actual alcohol. So it doesn't matter if you're drinking
low carb
or fucking VB. Like it's still it only excess carbs is just going to probably, if you're not burning them off, just like food, you're just going to put weight on. It's the alcohol is, if anything's going to do it. But like Ari just said, everything in moderation. If you're sinking 8-9 beers a night, of course, it's not very good recovery for your body. If you're having a couple here and there on the weekend or whatnot, and you throw a big one on, you know, once a month, then whatever, that's cool. But if you're getting like my clients getting ready for a show, they won't drink the whole 12 to 14 weeks because everything counts. Balancing gym, going out, drinking with friends, the do's and don'ts. Sort of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, again, just fit into your lifestyle. If you go out for a night out, enjoy yourself, have fun, then pick back up the next day. Make sure you're conscious of that next day, getting that extra sort of rest that you might need, and then, you know, maybe kick everything back off on the Monday. Try not to go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and drink every day because it will hinder some results.
I just went on this guy's profile and he's pretty young. Probably looks in his teens. So, man, at your age, I guess if you're not ready, if you're not jumping on stage or getting ready for a show or whatever, then probably like you got to enjoy your teen years. You've got to go out and have drinks with your mates, and you don't have to, but it's a good thing to do and enjoy yourself. And the balance, that's what I mean. Like if you're party all weekend and you don't eat any food and then you think you're going to still make gains in the gym, it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like find that balance. I know one of your mates, I just looked on who follows you. He had an all-nighter on Saturday night and woke up Sunday morning, went for a run. His dad told me the other day. That's fucking balance.
That's balance.
That is balance. He goes, he got home at 2 a.m, he was slurring his words, and I go, you're going to be fucked in the morning, son. And he goes, I woke up, and he'd already been out of bed, and he got home, he went for an 8K run.
It's like that video. You see the guy.
I was like, fuck.
The guy who's running on Instagram, and he goes, I'm just leaving the club, and I ended up in a marathon.
How the fuck have I got involved in the marathon on the way home from a rave?
When his dad told me the other day down at Wee Shop, I was in stitches because I was like, if that was me or you, bro, we were laying in bed all day.
Oh, mate.
Sunday. Businesses that inspire you. Fuck, there's a few.
Yeah.
There's a heap. A local one, I'd probably say Jake's G6 because I know where he's come from.
He goes hard.
He goes hard. He
and he's been through a lot as well.
He had this one factory bay with fuck all in it, a couple of barbells, this shit punch like boxing bag, and he just went nuts. And as it progressed, he just like there's so much more to it. So this is cutting it out heaps. Then he progressed to the next bay, and then I remember him saying when I was there, he goes, "Fuck, I'm going to knock the wall down, and take the third bay." And I'm like, "Fuck, I don't know about that." And then he did. He knocked that down. So he took all these bays, all the walls. You just keep walking through, blew it up. It looked crazy. And then he went from there and he goes, I'm going to open this one around the corner. And that's when I was like, come on, you're fucking kidding. Fucking sure enough, G6 at King Cup was about as big as fucking any gym I've ever seen. And it runs well, and
he's not afraid to have a crack.
He's not afraid to have a crack, yeah. and that's pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
Like that's epic. Yeah, fuck, I'm just going to go with that. There's heaps.
There's heaps, yeah.
Muscle Nation are pretty inspiring.
Yeah, you know what? Muscle Nation's done. Full credit to them, man. They have done everything right. Like, I'm sure they've had enough crap in their time, but they started about the same time as us, and like hat off to them. Like they have absolutely smashed it out of the park. It is something you want to have a look for. Like, yeah, you can't knock them. You can't knock them.
I knew this question was coming when I woke up this morning. I just knew someone would ask this. Thoughts on all these deaths in bodybuilding?
Oh, man.
After seeing Cedric McMillan dying at 44, which is...
So young, man.
So young. My thoughts is obviously it's very sad and it shouldn't happen. And a lot of people would say, a few people would say, he could have had an underlying issue, which is true.
Well, he did. He had a heart scare like last year.
Yeah, okay. And that dude served in the military as well. So it's like, fuck, like he probably had a lot of stress. Now, in saying all that, you cut the bullshit. These guys, the pros that are dropping like this, there's no doubt in my mind that there's obviously the stuff that they take, or the gear that they use is putting a lot of stress on their body. You know what I mean? And if they have underlying issues, then it's just going to contribute to that. I feel like a lot of people push it too far. Even though we haven't seen Cedric really hit his peak for years and really hasn't done that many comps, there's probably damage has been done years ago. You know what I mean? And like I said, fucking the military, I can only imagine go serving the country being like under that stress. But there's heaps more bodybuilders that have passed away.
Heaps.
And it's
I don't know if it's like because of social media, you're hearing about it more or what, but it's seen. I don't know.
And because we follow bodybuilding pages,
I think like if you're listening to this, and especially if you're a male, but also female, males are usually a bit more stubborn to go and get checks done, get your blood work done, check your heart, check all your your health triggers. So if there is something underlying that is flagging, you can address it early instead of letting the time bomb start to tick before something major happens. So yeah, get your blood work done frequently, especially if you're using gear or whatever it might be. You got to, even if you're not, like just once every 6 months or something, just start to do it just so you can figure out what's happening. And if you're worried about something, go get it checked. Even little things like getting your moles checked, like we live in like one of the hottest countries in the world with one of the highest skin cancer rates. Should be getting that stuff checked all the time. But yeah, it's terrible, man. It's terrible because you look up to these guys as like the elite and you think they're bulletproof, and then you hear that they're dropping at 44 and you're like, oh man, that's only 10 years plus what we are.
And it's like over the years, bodybuilders have got bigger and bigger and leaner and drier and fucking everything. So it's like, it's not going to help if you want to be Mr. Olympia, then you see fucking Rami walk out on stage. You're like, I need to get as big as that to win it. And that's what guys are trying to do. They're pushing the boundaries and they're dying. Like, it's fucking bad. I like classic physique. I'm not saying that. I feel like they'd be using a lot less than probably some of these pros. In saying that, they're probably still not that healthy.
But I mean, if you're even still using and you have underlying issues,
well, that's right.
You could be using a little amount. This is where it's important to go get stuff checked.
Yeah, and it's not a lot of people will openly talk to you about it as well. Which sucks because, yes, using those things are illegal, or whatnot, but people are still going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's dangerous. It's fucking dangerous.
Yeah, go get your stuff checked.
One more. Biggest health issue you find day to day working in the industry?
Mental health issue. Mental health for me, I reckon.
Yeah, mental health, of course. That would be number one.
Yeah.
But I'm massive on this as well, and I talk about it a fair bit, obviously with the males, is low testosterone in males. Hey, now, of course, obesity is another big issue, and it puts weighing factors on your body, your heart, etc., diabetes. But low testosterone in males can lead to cause of depression, anxiety, just general well-being and feeling shit about themselves, right? And I have a lot of good customers, males over the age of 35, that I can guarantee have low testosterone levels and they don't even know it. And they think that this is just their way of life. I'm 41. This is how I'm meant to feel.
Well, again, you know what? That goes back to what we just spoke about. Go get your blood work done.
That's
Find
right.
out what's going on.
And you know what? A couple have.
Yeah.
And no shit, have come back to me the last couple of weeks, not dropping names at all, and had really, really low testosterone levels. Now, and he's like, man, and the doctor's like, no wonder you have no energy. No wonder you can't lose that body fat. No wonder you're lethargic. He goes, you've got a testosterone level of a 77-year-old.
Wow.
Now that factors of that, he has a very high and stressful job. He looks after a lot of staff. He's got a family as well, young kids, right? So, and he's not sleeping. He's 3, 4 hours a night, right? So that straight away, there we go, bang, all these underlying issues is because you have low testosterone level. And that's not healthy. The doctor said that is not healthy. Now, whether you go down that path and the doctor will put you on some TRT, which they prescribe to you, and it's legal, or you use a testosterone booster, like a natural testosterone booster that we all stock in all our stores, have been proven to work very, very well. And you have customers come back after 3 weeks feeling so much better libido, more energy, better feeling better about themselves. Not, you know what I mean? Losing the body fat, building the muscle, and just feel better about themselves. Because that's, end of the day, that's important. You know what I mean? If you're, like I said, low testosterone levels can lead to depression. So there's mental health right there.
So that's a male side, obviously.
Male side, yeah.
I reckon for a female side, it'd probably be more of that sort of mental health kind of thing. If we push, you know, fat loss and things out the door, there's so much pressure on them, and males when they go on, you know, so things like TikTok and Instagram to look a certain way. And, you know, I think it's good now in that, especially women, they're putting up real photos now, not, you know, edited and angles and everything. So it gives younger females specifically an idea that, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to look a certain way. You can just be healthy and happy, and, you know, you don't have to look like an airbrushed model 24/7. Like, if you're happy and healthy, that is way better than you can be, because most of these girls that put things up are suffering mentally as well. They show you the highlight reel just to, you know, make themselves feel better. But if you're a girl out there or a woman out there that feels happy and healthy the way you are, don't change. You should be happy that you are like that.
There's a lot of like, how do I put this? A lot of like shit on Instagram, like you're saying.
I was about to say bullshit
shit. That obviously it starts at a younger age with the girls, and it still continues on through their 20s.
This happens
30s.
To dudes as well.
Yeah, it happens to dudes. Like, if we're talking about females, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're gonna sit there and upload a photo of.
I've seen it.
Who's a fucking celebrity around?
Yeah, well, I've seen it heaps of times.
I don't
like,
even fucking look at that shit. I can't even deal with
like
it.
a close friend of mine will try and put a photo on Instagram, and there's like 100 photos that they've taken, just all at different angles, and then they can't post it, like, because they feel like they're going to get judged on it. I'm like, that is so shit.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, but it's even like, fuck, we're talking about boys. One dude, he's going to know who he is too, and he checks in, and he's shit ass with his phone, obviously. So he sends his check-in photo, but he's taken a screenshot of it, and I can see down the bottom he's fucking done 8 to 9 photos of that fucking same pose, and I'm like, and bro, you don't need to impress me. I just need realistically how you look so we can make changes. But still, it's imprinted in your head. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm sure. Fuck, let's be honest. You're going to put a photo on Instagram.
Yeah, you want to look good.
It to look
good. 100%.
Like, fuck, if I was going to put up a photo of me first thing in the morning, fucking hell, like,
no one wants to see that.
No one wants to see that. You probably do, because I guarantee all your mates are going to screenshot it. But you know what I mean? Like, it's whatever. You know, it's a lot of stress for you know, and shit that girls go through, especially. Yeah, definitely. And that leads to fucking mental health issues. Yeah, massively. Yeah,
well, it's good.
Yeah.
Episode 4. We'll kick off next week's next week.
We'll kick off next week.
Thank you guys for listening. If you got any questions or anything, just drop them below. If you could subscribe, that would be amazing. Hit the like button. See you next week, Dax.